Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
How the arrival of the Amadea Superyacht Wedged Fiji between a Russian oligarch and the United States government slapping sanctions on some of Vladimir Putin's uber-rich friends is designed to cost them dearly, but in the case of the Amadea Superyacht, it is the small island nation of Fiji that is being forced to pay up. The 106-metre luxury vessel arrived into Lautoka port in mid-April and has been the subject of legal proceedings, including being the asset in question on a United States seizure warrant. Last week, it looked as if the US law enforcement officials on the ground in Fiji were free to sail away with the $450 million superyacht, but a fresh appeal attempt was lodged and will be heard this week. The issue for Fiji is that this very expensive vessel is also very expensive to maintain. Right now, the vessel is in the custody of the Fijian authorities, and according to the public prosecutor, is costing the country more than $1 million Fijian dollars, $655,000 a week while legal proceedings drag on. Fiji's Director of Public Prosecution Christopher Pryde said the current stay on the seizure of the Amadea should be lifted for a number of reasons, including the cost of keeping the yacht, and to Fiji's international reputation. The case of the Amadea has put Fiji in a unique spot, a long way from the war in Ukraine, but wedged firmly between a sanctioned Russian billionaire and the US government. The central question, one detail in the case of the Amadea that has been central to legal proceedings, is the question of who actually owns it. At the end of the murky trail of shell companies and trusts, which person gets to walk on board the Amadea and call it their own? And the answer isn't who that person is believed to be, but rather who can be proven to benefit from the ownership of the vessel in a court of law. The US believes it has evidence that proves sanctioned Russian billionaire, politician and Putin ally Sulieman Kerimov owns the Amadea, but on paper it belongs to an investment firm. That firm has lawyers in Fiji fighting to prevent the US Marshals Service sailing the Amadea into American territory. At the heart of the legal matter is the US seizure warrant. Essentially, the US government asked the Fijian government for help seizing the Amadea, and so the public prosecutor requested the US seizure warrant be registered locally, meaning it could be enforced in Fiji. That request was granted and, together with the FBI and the US Marshals Service, Fijian law enforcement seized the yacht last week. But then defense lawyers filed an appeal. Read more. Their position is the question of who owns the Amadea needs to be answered in a Fijian court, before the US warrant can be accepted and the vessel seized. The Fijian public prosecutor believes that question is to be answered in an American court. The issue of ownership and underlying criminal matters giving rise to the US request for the Fijian authorities to restrain the yacht should be decided in the US, not in Fiji, Mr Pryde said. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution said Fiji was merely facilitating a request from the US. The case will come before the full bench of the Fijian Court of Appeal on Wednesday. And while these technicalities are argued over in Suva, the Amadea is sitting on the other side of Fiji's main island racking up a sizable public bill. Mr Pryde was in court at the appeal hearing on Thursday and said the matter was costing the Fijian government $82,000, $119,000 a day, or more than $1 million Fijian dollars a week. Fiji is responsible for the care of property in its custody and therefore is responsible for the costs in maintaining the Amadea. Once custody of the yacht is handed over to the US will assume the costs, Fiji's Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions said in a statement. The Amadea is currently moored at a private wharf in Lautoka behind security gates guarded by the Port Authority. The vessel has been refuelled and in recent photos, appears to have been cleared of personal effects. Local media reported the Amadea was also blocking traffic at the Princess Wharf in Lautoka. The US government is ready to assume control of the vessel and the associated costs and has previously estimated those expenses to be up to $30 million a year. In cases like this, Washington also has the ability to share any proceeds from the eventual sale of assets won in forfeiture proceedings with international partners. Why Fiji? As Russia invaded Ukraine, the Amadea went dark and started its journey across the Pacific, according to the FBI. It sailed from Mexico to Fiji, a straight shot few vessels in the world would be able to manage without refueling. But with the live lobster tank and helicopter pad on the Amadea, comes a massive fuel tank and the ability to cross oceans at speed. The FBI said there was an attempt to prevent the Amadea being seized almost immediately after Russia's war began. Amadea turned off.